Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you guys are doing good. This is me, Abu Bakr Dilavar. Welcome to Founders Kahani's today's episode. So as you all know that in Founders Kahani, we always invite entrepreneurs, venture capital from all around the world so that you can get your inspiration and start your entrepreneurial journey with flying colors and get your inspiration from that and learn a lot from that can help you in your entrepreneurship journey. So today we have a very amazing guest about a very amazing, actually a hot trending topic. So as we all know that the world is shifting now, Saudi Arabia is becoming the super hot market for startups especially, and for the tech companies especially. So today we have a very amazing guest all the way from Saudi Arabia who's running his own venture studio by the name of Thara Ventures in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. Well, please welcome Haytham. He's the CEO of Thara Ventures. How are you, Haytham?
So far, so good. Thank you very much for Abu Bakr, and thank you very much for hosting it today. And I hope we are going to share valuable info for those who are interested into the entrepreneurship funding and whatever topic is related that might help some people starting their business and growth.
Yeah. So, Haytham, this is Founders Kahani. So, if I ask you what's your kahani is.
So it started by establishing my first company and raised fund, and then made an exit that was back in 2021 in the BPO industry. And we had a chance to build the fastest growing BPO in the Middle East back then in 2021 and reaching 1,256 employees. After so, I've got the experience when it comes to the financial models and how you can raise fund and how you can make a scalable model and how you can make an exit as well. Then I shifted into Saudi Arabia back then after managing two software companies, and their evaluation as well, it was passing the $10 million. So when we went in there, we started to find everyone is looking, every tech or every startup is looking for raising fund and how to build a scalable model because this is something on the table. And as you know, Saudi Arabia like almost has 40% of the family offices. It's based in Saudi Arabia in the Middle East. So that's where we started. We started to to share our story, our success story with many entrepreneurs. And then we started to talk with VCs and with investors. They would like to adapt a successful model that they can apply. From here, we started to build Thara Venture Studio. So that's mainly how we started, and it's just a journey of 3 years, let's say.
That's really amazing. That's really great. So I've been looking at Thara Ventures. You guys have a dual model program, right? So can you tell us like what's the mission of Thara Ventures?
All right, so I would like to give like a highlight for those who are just listening to our topic and maybe the words don't add up. So the funding funnel of the world and how it works, as we know, it's a start from the LPs or the family offices, the limited partners or the family offices, and the start to fund smaller firms like VCs, accelerators, and incubators, and each one of them has a mission. So they start to invest they buy let's say a cut of your company for a certain amount of money, and this is going to help you to accelerate and continue your growth journey. So that's the venture capital or the Inky or the accelerator model. The venture studio, it's the only difference between this and that. We are not providing only money. We are providing capital and operational expertise. And that's the general of the venture studio. But what we do differently at Thara Venture, that we found that there is a gap once you're going to receive this capital and you don't know the fundamentals of the basics of financial models and how you can use this money, let's say, you might fail, as Stanford said, 7 out of 10 companies fail because of the financial decision that they don't know about. So we started to adapt a different model, not just giving you lectures. We are going to give you the perks that you are going to work on ground with you and establish your marketing and branding, your financial structure, your hiring module as well. So you are going to have the basics to start your sales funnel, and from here we can go. So that's actually one of the main basics that we do at Thara. The second important thing, which is what you're going to do after getting the money. Like, let's say now we just made like everything on behalf. So we need to teach and deliver this message to you so you can do that on your own. So we have a very specific model that's going to take you in a journey, not a workshop. It's going to be learning by experience how you're going to understand decision taking and decision making when it comes to any financial decision that you're going to make, you are about to make, which is going to help you to make correct evaluation, and it's going to help you to reach Series C and Series B. Because if you raised fund like at the very beginning and it was like under wrong evaluation, so you might face some challenges later on. So we give you what's next, which is the deal flow, and we as well we make sure that we are going to avail for you a deal flow and the follow-up fund that's going to be through one of our connections and one of our partners, either a VC or a family office later on.
That's very interesting, and I think you guys are doing such a great work. And so, basically, when you are running a venture capital firm and helping startups, so all kind of startups reach out to you, right? So how do you keep the balance between like the startups who are at very early stage and how the startups who are like on a more advanced stage? And how do you believe that how it is important for a venture studio or for a startup himself to know about their stage and to implement the strategies according to the stage in which they are?
Yeah, it's not easy mission. So it's very challenging once you are going to have one of the startups, their operations started to expand. So at the growth stage, you understand that you had like let's say traction on certain product or services that you are providing. Once you start to grow, once you start to like to go outside of your jurisdiction, so here's the challenge comes because you need to allocate your resources very specifically on a mission with a timeline, with certain goals and KPIs, and then you're going to go back into managing other firms. So what we do actually, we have different levels of advisors, judges, and mentors, and this is through our network. We have them internally, and we start to assign the perks. Each one, it's going to be on a mission. Once we are going to sit with the startup, we understand what's their product, what's their market, what's their customer. So we do our job when it comes to many research paperwork before we go. Once we had a plan, we start to go with the advanced, or let's say on like the post stages on growth for startups. We work with them on ground with our team, which is going to be the head of investment committee first, and myself with the perks. So we do the plan. When it comes to the early stages, it's more of just giving them the basics. So I need to ask, do you know, like, have you ever been working in a corporate before and you understand the basic fundamentals and for running a company? So we start each division. We have the HR, we have the marketing, we have the sales, we have the training, we have the quality, we have the customer success, they have the financials. We go step by step. So actually, it's totally different perks and totally different workshops when it comes to the early stage and let's say the advanced stage from startups. So it's not so easy, but as much as we can, we try to allocate our resources in a very efficient way with them.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So, startups has one of the term which is like they are most scared of because I'm also an ex-startup founder, so I can totally relate to it, which is risk. So, how you guys help startup founders to mitigate their risks? Uh, hey, Hatham, can you hear me? It this happened. So I was asking one of the most important thing that a startup founder should concern about is also risk. So how do you help startup founders to mitigate risks?
All right, so we do this through like very basic steps, like everyone else. We provide market analysis. first. Like, let's say if we had someone joining the Middle East and they are coming from outside, so we make sure that we are matching the culture. That's the first thing. They have the basics of the culture or not. And then we run basic market research on the product and the total market size of it. Once we understand what's the market, what's the need, what's the pain we are going to kill, we study the like the similar stories that we have in the market. Let's say if we have any success stories, if we have still competitors in the market, once we finish this paperwork, it gives us like a very specific like basic business plan that we understand what we are going to do next. So once we have this, we start to talk with the expertise and the background of the founders, because not usually you're going to only see your plan, it's going to fit. We do a test, like before we just go 100% lunch, we go a very basic test from our perks, and then we reach out to our advisors and experts. We advise them like we have this plan. We get rating from the investment committee and anonymous rating as well from the advisors and the mentors in a scoring system that we build. It's called the startup assessment tool. Once we finish all of this, so you're going to have like very active business plan. It has been tested. It has been built based on science, based on market research, and testimonials as well from the experts in the market. So once we do this, yeah, you as much as you can, you are going to avoid like being in jeopardy once you are going to start your business without this knowledge, the basic knowledge. So yeah, that's the basics that we are do at Thara Venture with each and every venture that we are about to invest or to advise what they should do.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So, what are the primary factors you guys focus on to accelerate a startup? And can you share some of the success stories as well?
I'm sorry, can you repeat again?
So I'm asking like, what are the primary factors you guys focus on to in terms of accelerating our startup growth? And what can you share some of the success stories as well?
Okay, actually, at Thara Venture, we just started, so we don't have like what we can share when it comes to as success stories yet, because the success story for us, it means that you're going to go into like 100x, but we didn't reach that yet. But what we are focusing on, like we are sector-based venture studio. So if you looked at the sectors that we are targeting, it's the AI, deep tech, agri-tech, and gaming. And why we did this, it's through like search paperwork that we have done, that we found that the, like, let's say the agri-tech, it has like growth of 1,009 hundred, which is 1,009% of growth. So actually, everyone is going to the fintech. We found that there are more than 16 sustainable development goals for the UN and 2030 vision of Saudi Arabia, and that's actually what we follow. So we tracked where are the potential sectors that we might invest in, and where's the growth is coming from, and you can find like the 2030 visions. It has like very specific goals. So actually we adapted the like the early stages in the market when it comes to the gaming, AI, deep tech, and agri-tech as well, which is going to serve the sustainable development programs. And we found that the growth for the coming 4 years, it's going to be like exceeding at what we have done from our research paperwork, which is going to be published at Thera Blogs. That's going to exceed the fintech, and it's going to take it over. And I believe like you can see how the AI is changing the world right now. So actually, that's what we lean on when it comes to our strategy. So we hope that we are going to reach that before 2030.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So talking about the future, so what is your perspective on the current venture capital landscape and how has it evolved? And what are the trends do you think entrepreneurs should keep an eye on?
All right. So we mentioned in our earlier talk that how like the venture studio started and when it has been started. So let's like take a quick look into the like the landscape of the venture studio and venture capitals in Saudi Arabia specifically, because there's where we're operating. you're going to find like the global venture investment, it's approximately like 445 billion in 2023. That's a heavy focus in technology startups. And if you looked at the regional breakdown, you're going to find in the Middle East over 3 billion on the venture capital raised in 22 only, 2022. So from here, when we started to study the market, look at the companies just made it through in Saudi Arabia only, you're going to find Jahez, you're going to find Tamara, you're going to find the early raised at Sella. It's between 100 and 150 million. These startups just raised this amount of money within the last 3 years. So if you are going to tell me what to focus on or how to advise the startups, where is the focus? You need to focus into the B2B businesses and the AI-based companies, not just technology. If you have your LLM, your learning machine modules that's inside your engine, inside your company, everyone is going to be interested to get into you. Second thing, look at the biggest companies just made it through. Uh, I shared that before in earlier talk that Microsoft, they have like 98% of their income, it's coming through partnerships. So before you start any business, look at the scale that you are going to reach. Look at the partners that you can cooperate with. Not only the market, not only the customer. It's there are a lot of potential that you might get once you are going to work with partners. But going on your own and actually from like venture capital perspective, you are going to just make sure that you are going to raise fund, raise fund, raise fund. That's not like very strategic plan. You need to understand how to mitigate the risk, as we spoke earlier, and you need to have a very specific financial structure that's going to keep your runway and keep you to the default life as soon as you can. But we know, like now, the startups, once they're going to get the fund, they start just thinking how to go big, which is something that we don't advise. As much as you can, you need to understand how to lean on partners and how you can have resellers and partnerships that's going to make you reach the product market fit without just go into the market and test yourself, which is going to be a longer journey.
That's really interesting. So can you tell about like the fund that Thara Venture is managing, and also like what you guys are looking for to into the companies that you are going to add in your portfolio companies?
Okay, actually, we are looking at the companies at early stage as we spoke, and if they have developed product, we can look into that as well. But the early that they are, the more interesting for us. We're looking for companies as well and startups that they are going to operate and relocate it into Saudi Arabia for the current time. And we are sector based, as we mentioned. Once it's going to be AI, deep tech, agri-tech, or gaming startup, that's a very potential for us to be invested in. We allocate capital in-kind services for 1.4 million riyals. And that's through a journey of 6 months to 12 months of workshops of in-kind services. Once the startup is going to pass some certain results and KPIs, now we are going to start to put them into another program, which is how to use the fund, and we start to allocate the fund directly to them, so they are going to have the power in executing, taking decision, and making decisions financially, and start to grow. That's the first track. The second one, which is going to just make sure that they are going to have the follow-up fund from our partners, which is the family offices and the VCs that we are in partnership with. Last thing that we do, which is we make sure that we are not going to leave that only here. We have like 3 workshops for the founders right after they just reach their KPIs, which is it's related to
Okay.
the branding and their business, how they can scale and how they can just go into a global market, which will be a deal flow, which is going to be outside and franchise for them outside of the region.
That's interesting. Definitely. So, what's your advice about the companies who are planning to move to Saudi Arabia, and what type of challenges they should keep in their mind before moving to Saudi Arabia?
As you know, like Saudi Arabia, it's at the very early stage of growth. Like I can call that like the PIF just the announced that they are going to have just 1 billion and 400 millions, and they said the market is still in need, and we are still at early stage. And the emerging markets, they are expecting that's going to be the double before 2030. So actually, if you are looking at that market before you go, you need to understand that the competition is going to be like very aggressive very soon. And Saudi Arabia, as much as they can right now, they are mitigating and trying to just mitigate the culture risk that you need to move into Saudi Arabia. You need to understand how the legal structure is working in there. You're not going to find so much different in culture because actually it's right now it's like the main hub for the Middle East. But what you need to take in consideration that you are going to deal with a different culture, maybe. So you need to understand the culture very well, the nature of the customer, the purchasing power of the Saudi people. It's 40% above the normal. So you have a very powerful people in there, and the purchasing power it's passing like any other country. So that's actually considered a big risk because you understand there is a purchasing power. So that means it's like a very good market. So you go with a like with a huge plan without studying the market very well. Now you're going to just get revision, get many challenges. And definitely, we advise if you are going to do so, you need to make sure you are going to be there before 2027, because 2028, we are going to be on a different level of Saudi, starting Expo. I believe it's going to be like another Dubai or maybe more. So
Yeah.
you need to start early as much as you can. And last thing, as we always recommend, you have to build up your network because network is everything when it comes to the Middle East. You have to build up your network before you start anything in there.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's true. Network is your net worth. It's 100% true. So thank you so much, Hatham, for your coming to this podcast today. We had a lovely conversation with you, and
Thank
I
you, man.
have still have a lot of questions to ask, but we have short time. So on the very last, I am also part of Gen Z. So Gen Z always see a cool aspect in every serious conversation. So we had a very serious conversation. But now I have a very fun question from you to ask. So if I give you a chance to invite three people on your dinner table, dead or alive, who that will be?
I'm sorry, can you come again?
So if I give you a chance to invite three people on your dinner table, dead or alive, who that will be?
Okay, the first one is going to be Elon Musk.
Okay.
Like if I'm going to, you mean people just alive already, not to bring
Alive or
someone.
dead? It could be anyone, anyone.
Okay, so the first one, I believe it's going to be Elon Musk. The second one is going to be definitely Steve Jobs, and the third one is going to be Warren Buffett.
That's an interesting choice. So, thank you so much, guys, for listening to Founders Kahani. Today, the people who are in us with the meeting, we are going to have a converse. We are going to give you a chance to ask questions from Hatham after we end this recording. So, thank you so much, guys, for listening to Founders Kahani. Today, we will see you next week with an amazing guest. Allah.